I've had a lot of people ask me what the new meta is for Endgame after the Season 4 update and the nerf that the XR3 Ion got. Honestly, there hasn't really been much of a change. The nerf to the Ion wasn't quite as extreme as we first thought it was. But there has been some changes since my last meta video with a new entry, some changes to utility bonuses and more, so I thought I'd make an updated meta video with everything that I've been using since the start of the update. I'll go over each weapon on my list again now with any weapon build codes, utility bonuses and skill tracks that I'd recommend to pair with them. So without further ado, here is my updated top 5 meta list for Endgame in Season 4. A new entry into the Endgame meta is the M34 Novaline Marksman Rifle. At the start of Season 4, the Novaline received a 50% damage increase, which has made it more viable than it was before. This is a 2-burst marksman rifle, but when you reach the higher combat rating levels, your magazine size increases, and it comes with a whopping 60 rounds mag, so you aren't constantly reloading as you would with traditional marksman or sniper rifles. Because it is a marksman rifle, you can also apply explosive bullets to it, as you can with all marksman rifles in Endgame. The 50% damage increase has really improved the damage output for this weapon, and it has definitely earned its spot at the number 5 for the top meta weapons. I'd recommend running Bulldozer for the explosive bullet damage resistance and Eagle Eye to boost the crit damage from the Novaline. I personally don't think that attachments make much of a difference to the overall performance of the weapons generally speaking in Endgame, but one of the main ones you'll want to always focus on with any weapon is the barrel, ensuring it's one that increases damage range or bullet velocity or both. After that, I tend to just apply any recoil reducing attachments and the ones that increase the mag size without harming the damage output. Here is the build code for my Novaline build. Play around with the attachments and see what works best for you. For the barrel, I'd recommend the 17-inch B1 hybrid barrel or the 15-inch Cyclops 03 barrel. Moving on to number 4, we have the Reboot, as it remains one of the most insane weapons to have in Endgame. The Reboot is fantastic in the latest glitch, as it's great at dealing with crowds of enemies. The Command Killer glitch is a fear and parasite heavy glitch, so being able to take out large groups at once is great. The Reboot comes fully decked out with some of the best attachments it has to offer, so there is no need for any build codes or attachment recommendations. It will also fit in your secondary slot, so I'd recommend you pair it with something with a bit more range and that deals higher damage to the bosses and elites, so you can switch between them depending on what type of enemy you are facing. For the utility bonus, you of course want the grenade bullets, which can still only be applied to the Reboot, not the standard 1911 version of the weapon. Grenade bullets are one of the rarer utility bonuses you can get for the Reboot, but if you keep re-rolling at the exotic fabricator, you will get them sooner or later. For the exotic effect, I'd recommend mortar rounds, as it will take out even more enemies in groups at one time. You'll want to run Bulldozer for the explosive damage resistance to protect yourself from the grenade bullet explosions. The Reboot is hard to find, but 100% worth picking up if you see it. Even if it doesn't come with grenade bullets, they can be applied later. Coming in at number 3 is the Warden 308 Akimbo explosive pistol build. This one is insane and bangs out most enemies at close to medium range. For this build, you'll need the Warden 308 Badlands pistol kit and the Warden 308 revolver akimbo attachments. The build I have for the Warden 308 is the Fang hover point for the optic. I realise that having an optic on an akimbo weapon seems silly, but it adds recoil stabilisation. The barrel is the 8-inch Admon-ish barrel. For the magazine, I've got the speed latch cylinder. The comb is of course the Warden 308 Badlands pistol kit that will turn it from a marksman rifle into a pistol. The rear grip is the Leviathan grip. Then we need to add the Warden 308 revolver akimbo attachment as the stock, so this will make the Warden pistols dual wield. Then I have used the 3MW motion strike laser for the laser, and finally the MFS snap trigger for the fire mods. You'll need to prestige the Warden 308 at least once to unlock this last attachment. For the utility bonus, I'd recommend explosive bullets and shrapnel rounds for the exotic effect. You'll again want Bulldozer to protect yourself against the explosive bullets and Eagle Eye to increase any crit damage you do. Moving on to number 2, which will be kind of joint first place, is the Hyper Surge. The Hyper Surge, or SoCal LMG, has been one of the best weapons in Endgame since it was introduced. With the Ion being slightly nerfed, it's starting to stand out even more now. Obviously it's an LMG, so comes with a large magazine, but it can also have the sharpshooter utility bonus applied to it that turns upper torso shots into critical hits. This means you'll be dealing headshot damage way more frequently with it. Pair sharpshooter with shrapnel rounds and you have one of the best weapons in the game. I'd recommend using Eagle Eye with this one to really boost that crit damage from sharpshooter, as you'll melt through enemies and bosses in no time with this one. If you have bulldozer equipped to your operator as well, you'll get a serious damage boost at point blank range with the point blank skill that comes with the bulldozer skill track. Get up nice and close to enemies and let rip, and you'll start dealing double damage. Aim for the enemy's crit spot and you'll absolutely melt everything super fast. There was no mention of any buffs to the Hyper Surge in Season 4 patch notes, and it has always been an incredible weapon, but it seems to smash enemies even in the glitch fractures now, more than it did, but maybe that's just because the Ion was nerfed, it feels more in line. Before we get to the number one spot, which I'm sure you've already guessed what it is, I'd like to throw in a few honourable mentions of a few other weapons in the game that are brilliant, but I personally don't tend to use with my playstyle. The first mention is of course the Arrow 109 launcher. It did get a bit of a nerf in the Season 4 update, but it still absolutely bangs and can now be found in loot caches, again after it was removed from the loot pool for weeks on end. The next honourable mention is the Shadow SK, which has a cool shotgun under barrel attachment that is also a fantastic option for taking out bosses. And finally, the pistol category. In the recent update, all 4 pistols received a 20% damage increase buff and 25% increase to damage range. The 1911 and Jaeger also had their mag sizes increased, so pistols are now worth trying out and using as a secondary. It's a shame that grenade bullets haven't been added to the standard 1911 pistol, as we could run it akimbo and that would be insane. Hopefully we'll see it added in a future update. Okay, so coming up at number 1, you guessed it, the XR3 Ion. The short of it is that the Ion is still the top weapon in my opinion. The Season 4 nerfs saw a reduction of its damage output and nerf to the explosive bullets utility bonus when applied to the Ion, but the solution to this is simply to swap out explosive bullets for sharpshooter at the exotic fabricator. It's not dealing damage like it previously was. I was consistently hitting between 75,000 to 100,000 damage with the Ion, but now it's down to more like 25,000 to 50,000 damage due to the recent nerf, but it still absolutely slaps. So you'll want to add sharpshooter as the utility, shrapnel rounds as the exotic effect, and for the build I'm using the Fang hoverpoint optic, the 19-inch revolution barrel, the 0S handguard for the undergrip, the overload capacity mag for the magazine, the LT sling grip for the rear grip, the LTI collapse stock for the stock, the 3MW motion strike laser for the laser, and the quick charge fire mods. So even after the nerf, the Ion is still one of the best choices for weapons, but all the other weapons on this list are also fantastic options if you fancy mixing things up and trying out some new weapons or want to level up something else. I can't see Treyarch nerfing the Ion again personally. It feels like it's in a much fairer place now, and some of the other weapons on this list are starting to shine a little bit more. And that is my top 5 list of weapons for Endgame after the Season 4 update. What weapons are you vibing with the most after the recent update? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be uploading a ton more Endgame videos in the coming days and weeks, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out. I have a Discord server with over 500 members in it, so if you are looking for teammates or want to discuss Endgame further, the link is in the description down below. You can now also support the channel by becoming a member. You'll get exclusive badges, emojis, access to a members only chat room in the Discord, and more. As always, thanks for watching and have a great day.